There's a quiet truth about aging that most people recognize long before they ever reach their senior years. If you look closely at the older adults around you, grandparents, neighbors, uncles, aunts, or even the seniors you see in stores or sitting at cafe tables, you'll notice something interesting. Nearly all of them share certain patterns, odd behaviors, little quirks, unspoken habits that seem to appear almost universally, yet for some reason, no one ever brings them up. Maybe it's because we don't want to be disrespectful. Maybe it's because we're afraid of hurting their feelings. Or maybe it's because we know, deep down, that one day, some of these same habits might show up in us. And that quiet fear keeps us silent. But when you look closer, these habits aren't about embarrassment. They're about understanding. They're about awareness, dignity, and recognizing the subtle ways aging shapes the human experience. And if you understand them early enough, you can strengthen your relationships, protect your social presence, and make your later years brighter instead of more isolating. Today, we're exploring 9 strange habits many seniors develop, habits everyone sees, but almost no one ever mentions out loud. Stay with me through the full video, because the 9th habit is one of the most common and the most surprising, yet barely anyone realizes they're doing it. Let's begin. The loop of familiar stories. You've probably witnessed it before. A senior sits down in a group conversation, and before long, a story you've heard many times begins unfolding again. Same beginning, same characters, same ending. Some seniors repeat stories not because they've forgotten they already told them, and not because they lack things to talk about. Often, it's because those stories carry emotional anchors. They're safe. They're meaningful. They represent chapters of life where they felt strong, accomplished, loved, or fully themselves. But what they don't see is how others around them respond. Polite smiles, distant eyes, shifting glances, the soft from someone who knows this story all too well. Take Mr. Randall, a retired firefighter in his early 80s. For years, he told the same story about rescuing a dog from a burning apartment. People admired him at first. It was heroic. But by the 15th time, neighbors were repeating the lines with him in their heads. He didn't realize he'd stopped sharing his life and started replaying it like an old tape. For seniors, repetitive storytelling gives comfort and identity. But for listeners, it slowly signals something else. Maybe the person isn't fully engaged in this moment, or maybe they aren't curious about the other person's life. Awareness doesn't mean silence. It means balance. A story shared once or twice becomes legacy. A story repeated endlessly becomes background noise. And when someone learns to mix memories with curiosity, conversations come alive again. But that's only the beginning, because the next habit is far more visible and far more quietly discussed. Letting personal grooming slide. With age comes a reality many younger people don't understand. Everyday tasks slowly begin requiring twice the effort and sometimes 3 times the energy. Something as simple as trimming nails or brushing hair becomes physically taxing. Buttoning a shirt becomes a negotiation with stiff fingers. Even choosing different clothes for the day feels like unnecessary work. But while seniors may not see these changes, the people around them often do. Unshaven stubble, mismatched clothing, shirts worn for days, hair that hasn't been brushed, or outfits that no longer fit comfortably. All of these are subtle signals loved ones quietly notice. Not out of judgment, but out of worry. Consider Eleanor, 78, who once took pride in her weekly beauty routine. She never missed a salon appointment, and she kept her wardrobe crisp and elegant. But after her arthritis worsened, styling her hair became painful. She didn't want to inconvenience her daughter, so she stopped asking for rides to the salon. Over time, her once polished appearance faded, not from neglect, but from quiet suffering. People around her noticed, but didn't know whether mentioning it would embarrass her. That's the thing about grooming. It isn't vanity. It's self-respect, confidence, and the subtle signal that you still value your presence in the world. And when seniors maintain small habits, fresh clothing, clean hair, basic grooming, it doesn't just improve the way others see them. It brightens how they see themselves. But while grooming habits slip quietly, The next habit is much harder to ignore: speaking loudly or interrupting without realizing it. One of the earliest changes in older adults is hearing. Yet most seniors hesitate to admit when the world begins sounding muffled or distant. Instead of asking people to repeat themselves, they raise their own volume without knowing it. They talk louder. They interrupt more. They respond before someone finishes speaking, just in case the thought slips away. This isn't intentional rudeness. It's a survival strategy. When you can't hear clearly, you fill in the blanks. You jump ahead. You talk quickly. You speak loudly enough to hear your own voice because it anchors your place in the conversation. But to others, the shift is noticeable. People lean back slightly. They talk less. They avoid topics that require calm or subtlety. One woman named Teresa solved a mystery that had bothered her family for years. Her father had started interrupting nearly every sentence she spoke. It strained their relationship. She thought he was disregarding her opinions. But later, a hearing test revealed he'd been missing the last few words of every sentence. He wasn't cutting her off. He was filling in the silence his ears couldn't catch. When seniors become aware of this dynamic, conversations become smoother, warmer, and more balanced. But if they don't, communication slowly becomes a one-sided performance. And as communication shifts, so does mood, which leads directly into the next habit many notice but rarely mention: slipping into negativity without knowing it. Aging brings wisdom, experience, and resilience, but it also brings aches, losses, disappointments, and memories that sometimes feel heavier than the present. Many seniors begin expressing frustration more often. Complaints about pain, about prices, about politics, about kids these days, about how the world is moving too fast or changing too much. At first, people respond with empathy. Over time, they respond with silence. Not because they don't care, but because constant negativity drains them emotionally, even when they love the person deeply. Take Walter, age 84. He was once known for his sense of humor, but after losing several friends and dealing with chronic pain, his conversations drifted toward criticism and complaints. His daughter noticed she felt anxious before visiting him, not because she didn't love him, but because she feared leaving feeling sad or helpless. Negativity becomes invisible to the speaker, but it becomes a weight on everyone else. The solution isn't pretending everything is wonderful. It's balance. One frustration shared honestly is human. 10 frustrations shared every day becomes a pattern others begin quietly avoiding. And what comes next often grows from the same emotional root. Oversharing personal or medical details. Some seniors lose the social filter they once had, not because they don't care, but because openness becomes easier than holding everything inside. They talk in detail about medical tests, aches, digestive issues, doctor visits, or financial concerns. They share things once considered private with people who may not know how to respond: neighbors, store clerks, distant relatives, or acquaintances. Younger people often feel startled or overwhelmed. They're unprepared for this level of vulnerability. Meanwhile, the senior simply wants reassurance, comfort, or understanding. Harold, age 79, once explained to a grocery store clerk the details of his upcoming procedure without realizing he'd overshared. The clerk nodded politely, but her eyes darted around for help. She didn't want to be rude, yet she didn't know how to respond. Oversharing isn't a flaw. It's a sign of loneliness, fear, or a desire to connect. But when seniors become more mindful of who they're sharing with, and when they build healthier, more comfortable relationships. Still, even when communication is appropriate, the modern world adds another layer of complexity. Forgetting to show gratitude. This habit appears so subtly that even seniors who pride themselves on kindness often don't realize they're doing it. As people age, they become more dependent on others: family, neighbors, caregivers, cashiers, friends. And when something becomes routine, like someone bringing groceries, driving them to appointments, helping with chores, or handling finances, gratitude sometimes fades. Not intentionally, not out of entitlement, but because life becomes heavy, tiring, and overwhelming. Because when you're focused on physical pain or emotional strain, you forget the social graces you once taught others to use. But the people offering help notice, even if they stay silent. One man, named Samuel, realized his daughter had been bringing him groceries every week for months, yet he couldn't remember the last time he genuinely thanked her. When he did, her face lit up in a way he hadn't seen in years. That single moment reshaped their relationship. Gratitude doesn't need grand gestures. A simple, sincere thank you can revive connections, rebuild warmth, and remind loved ones that their efforts matter. And with that, it becomes clear. These habits aren't about age. They're about awareness. Growing older with intention, awareness, and grace. Now that we've examined 9 habits many seniors develop, habits almost everyone notices but rarely mentions, you might recognize some in yourself or in someone you love. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding. Growing older is a privilege. It's a chance to refine how we show up for others and for ourselves. To stay connected instead of isolated. To stay curious instead of rigid. To stay gracious instead of withdrawn. The most powerful habit of all is awareness. Because with awareness comes the ability to change. So ask yourself, which of these habits surprised you? Which ones made you think of someone you care about? Which ones do you hope to avoid or gently help someone else improve? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might help someone else understand aging in a whole new way. If you found this video meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might appreciate it. Your support helps us continue making videos that inform, uplift, and inspire. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Take care, stay mindful, and remember, aging shapes us, but awareness refines us.